But we'll start by turning our attention towards the big one that's taking place on December 21st. Listen, Gareth, I know we've seen it once. I thought it was an incredibly tight fight. I know that round number 9 probably ski-whiffs a lot of people's opinions on the fight, with Oleksandr Usyk being so dominant in that particular 3-minute stanza, but it was tight for large percentages of this fight. And no disrespect to anybody else in the division who have popped their head above the parapet and done some good things recently, I still think that these two are the best 2 heavyweights on the planet, and it is a rematch that I'm thoroughly looking forward to.
Yeah, rematch, revenge or repeat. It's, like you say, for Tyson Fury, if he loses this one and he doesn't have the legs this time, I think we sail away with Oleksandr Usyk as clearly the number 1 in the era. If Tyson Fury can claw one back. And I do think it'll be a very close fight again. I think it will come down to those last 3 or 4 rounds. Then we need a rubber match. And there's talk about potentially, with Eddie Hearn, even Frank Warren agreeing this in certain respects, that we might get Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua in the interim before that trilogy fight. I know it seems irregular and irrational to do that, but it depends. If Fury's a clear winner this time, there's no controversy about it. You can let these guys marinate. There's a risk for Fury because there's a jeopardy of him losing to Anthony Joshua. I don't think if Fury wins against Usyk and then they have a trilogy straight away, I cannot see either Usyk or Fury deciding they want another fight against Anthony Joshua. Honestly, I think it'll have to be in the interim.
I understand the thirst for seeing Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua, and I'm sure there's a lot of fight fans that probably disagree with me on this particular scenario, right? First and foremost, let's see what happens December 21st. Because if there's a blowout, if there's something conclusive early in the fight, then maybe we don't need part 3. But right now, I'm going to...
Well, that's Usyk beating Fury then.
Well, either or. I think if Fury is fantastic and blows him away in 3 or 4 rounds, I can't see it happening, but let's say it does, then is there a real thirst to say, well, we've got to go and do that again? I don't know. So let's wait and see.
Immediately, you mean?
Yeah, let's wait and see to see what happens on December 21st. Right now, I agree with you. I do believe it'll be equally as tight as we saw it the first time around. And if Tyson is successful and he can overturn the first result, then yeah, I'm absolutely in the ballpark of saying, you 1-1, you go again. Come on, let's define the era and find out who the main man is and be the best of each other. The Anthony Joshua conversation is interesting because it's a fight that fight fans have chased for such a long period of time. I'm in the same ilk as a lot of those fight fans that we need this era to have Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury, but we also need to have meritocracy. We also need to have a little bit of order amongst everything here, right? Anthony Joshua hasn't earned that shot. If Tyson Fury beats Oleksandr Usyk, he's a 3-belt holder in the World Championship division, right? With obviously Daniel Dubois holding the other belt. Now, whatever those belts are worth, whatever, all right? Anthony Joshua's just come off the back of a devastating loss to Daniel Dubois. He doesn't jump the queue. Not for me.
I know, but we always have this argument, you and I, and I'm only talking about the big numbers in boxing. I'm not talking about what I would necessarily want. I'm talking about what I think we might see. And I agree with you on meritocracy, but this is not a sport which has a great deal of meritocracy.
This is not a sport. You were right there.
It's a wild west, as I said. No, it's not. It's a business. And look, the other thing about this, and I don't disagree with you fully, because Anthony Joshua almost needs another fight before he fights a Fury or an Usyk or a Dubois again. And obviously the clock has come around and has ticked for 2.5 months or 2 months since September the 26 weeks since September the 21st, and they've seen the wisdom in not putting Anthony Joshua back in with Daniel Dubois. The only person I have heard say that, and he made a good argument for it, was Peter Fury. Let him get back on the horse and do it again. He didn't do too much wrong. He was in survival mode. He got caught early, and Peter is a very wise and prudent observer of the sport, so you have to take his opinion into account. But I think I can see Anthony Joshua going in against a Deontay Wilder, a Dillian White early next year. Dillian White fights, I know we're going to speak to him in a bit in a couple of weeks' time. If he comes through that, if he has a little ding-dong and knocks the guy out, which he's expected to do, then we could get that fight by March, and then maybe we get Fury and Anthony Joshua by the early summer. And it's also a fight that needs to happen here, in my view. Maybe sponsored by Riyadh Season, but it's a Wembley fight for me. You know, we might get 2 Wembley fights and a Tottenham Hotspur fight if we get Eubank and Ben and Fury and Joshua next year, by the way.
Listening to you speak there, is it more likely that we get Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua if Tyson Fury loses to Oleksandr Usyk?
I think we will get it, yes. I think if Oleksandr Usyk wins again and it's a close decision again, or he does whatever he does and he wins, I think we know then that Usyk is the number one in the era. He's the betting favourite going into this fight, by the way, marginal betting favourite. And I don't think he's got anything more to prove. He doesn't need to fight Martin Bakole, who's going to probably launch something major in Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo. Or he doesn't... Look what he's done. Look how brilliant he was against Daniel Dubois. Look what Dubois is right now. Look how brilliant he will have been twice against Fury and twice against Joshua. For me, he's got nothing else to prove. And at 37, 38 next year... it's probably time for him to saddle up and head off into the desert and build a ranch and do whatever he wants to do.
Simon Jordan's been having his say earlier this week on talkSPORT on the White and Jordan show. He thinks that the best version of Tyson Fury can beat Oleksandr Usyk.
I wouldn't be surprised if Usyk, because he's so brilliant, would win the fight. I wouldn't be surprised if Fury. But if you've got to ask someone who's going to pick, someone's got to pick a winner.
Yeah.
So, we'll be right or wrong, but I just got a feeling, an inherent belief in Tyson Fury. I haven't always enjoyed his behaviour over the last 18 months, but that's incidental. We're talking about a fight. And as a fighter, I think if he gets the best version of Tyson Fury back in that ring, if there's still one that exists, I think the best version of Tyson Fury can and will beat Usyk, but we have to see if it's the best version.
And that's the key thing. Is the best version still available?
People are saying in the last couple of days, Tyson Fury looks too thin now, he doesn't look heavy enough. When he's in good condition, his face goes thin, like yours, by the way. So, and I think he's had no distractions in this camp in Malta. I was touching base with his manager, Spencer Brown, earlier today. He's had no distractions. He's better conditioned than he was last time. You've got to take into account the cut in the interim, the cut to his eyebrow that will have precluded him from major sparring. He'll be sparring sharp as well for this one. And I think, as Tyson said to me, I spoke to him at that press conference at the Guildhall in London, and he said he admitted to complacency during that fight, kind of 6-7 rounds in. And I think if he's not complacent and he stays very focused and he doesn't do any japery, I think it's a very, very close fight. And I think he's going to win it on points as well.
Listen, of course it's a close fight because, as I said right at the start of this, these are the two best heavyweights on the planet. They are both incredible when it comes to ring IQ. There's going to be questions that are asked in this fight, and it's the one that can answer those questions the quickest and turn it in the direction that they wanted to turn it in. First time around, Oleksandr Usyk was that guy. Can Tyson Fury be that guy this time around? I agree with what you've just said regarding the camp. I love that we're not hearing noise. He's not on social media. He's not joshing and japing as he normally is doing, which means he's obviously... Usyk's got his respect, he's got his focus, and he's absolutely dialed in. My question was, do you believe that the best version of Tyson Fury still exists? The one that went and danced around Klitschko, or the one that bullied Deontay Wilder in that second fight? Do either of those versions still exist?
Well, I think if you equate what happens to a heavyweight during their career when they start in their mid-20s or their early 20s and they get to world championship level, when Tyson Fury beat Klitschko 9 years ago.
Yeah,
9 years ago.
Wow.
He was a 26, 27-year-old, very light on his feet. He bamboozled opponents with those telescopic arms and his movement and tying fighters up. That version went away in the 3 fights with Deontay Wilder, certainly in the second and third, where he became a bigger hitter at 19.5 stone. I'm told internally in the camp that's where they intend him to be for Usyk in this fight, 19.5 stone. He's got a great engine, there's no doubt about it.
And he keeps getting up, and he's got a great heart.
And he's got a great chin.
Can he catch Usyk? Because Usyk is a far more fleet-footed fighter than Deontay Wilder is.
Yeah, no. The key to Oleksandr Usyk's success is his engine, his last third of every fight when he goes 12 rounds, and the fact he's got this incredible footwork that allows him to put that left hand across you in different angles. Because it's the left hand of his that's really dangerous, and he's got a beautiful jab. Look, he's a very skilled fighter. Pound for pound, he's probably got greater skills than Tyson Fury, but he doesn't have the reach reach and the height. So, you know, they equal each other out in lots of measures. I just think that we saw it. Steve Bunce did a great interview with both of them for TNT. It was only 12 minutes long. They were both incredibly respectful. Oleksandr Usyk gave nothing away, and neither did Tyson Fury. And it really whet my appetite for being out there, and for all of us, by the way, being out there for that week, 15th to the 21st. It's going to be enormous.
It's a monster fight, and we're looking forward to bringing you that right here on talkSPORT, and I'm sure you're excited about it as well. Supported by Dennis McCann and Peter McGrail. Beautiful, beautiful fight. Really excited about that one. Bit of fun between Johnny Fisher and Dave Allen too. And we've also got Bohachuk and Madrimov on that card as well. You might not know too much about those two particular fighters, but let me tell you, they are elite in their division.
That's a war.
Should be a great
and also, of course, Moses Towner and Dempsey McKean, which is a kind of
course.
Even though it's a one-sided fight on the odds, just like Johnny Fisher and Dave Allen, something's going to be tested in Moses Towner.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.